I was born and raised in Tenleytown in Washington, D.C. My family on my mother's side is an old Washington, D.C. family. I was taught how to work because, we worked on the farm. I actually planted and raised and sold some crops myself. And my grandfather, who was an entrepreneur, taught me how to be an entrepreneur. He would send me up the hill with a basket full of berries to try to sell them to the grocery store. I did graduate with cum laude with an engineering degree from Lehigh, but in the summers I went to work for the Dravot Corporation, and I helped build the Pike Island locks. I was carrying a transit and wallowing around in mud, and I said to myself, there's got to be a better way to make a living. So when I graduated from Lehigh, then I decided to go down to the Wharton School and focus on finance. And I had the idea that somehow in the mining business I could combine the two educations and make a career there. So I looked for a job that would bring me back to the Washington, D.C. area. And the company that I chose to work for was Baxter Travenol. And Baxter Travenol was in the medical instrument business here in Washington, D.C. So through that transition, I came home, but I also became, for the first time, acquainted with biology medical instruments. When Baxter Travenol decided to change the business around, I was hired across the river into Virginia by Hazleton Laboratories and became the chief of finance. Hazleton was sold to Corning Glass Works, and my choices were move to someplace else or stay in the area, and I chose to stay in the area. And that meant that I had to think about what I was going to do, and I started a company of my own. It was called Pro Science Corporation, and we were providing rapid diagnostics for the dairy industry. After I had closed down Pro Science Corporation, I was invited to help turn around a company north of Baltimore in the medical device area. And that was my first introduction into producing medical devices. We successfully turned Kirshner around and sold it to Biomet. And again, I came back home to Loudoun County. American Osteomedics was formed by my son-in-law Eric and I. Eric's a wonderful entrepreneur, but of course I had the experience that goes with commercializing medical devices from Kirshner. We sold American Osteomedics to a company on the West Coast that was being run by a friend who had been at Kirshner with me, and Eric went to try to help them sell the product that we had invented. The people led to the founding of K2M because we had what I called a scattered brotherhood, all of the knowledge of the engineers and regulatory people and manufacturing people that had been with us at Kirshner. In 1979, we'd bought the farm here at Willowcroft Farm. We bought it for my daughters who were members of the 4-H, and they wanted to raise farm animals. So we came to Loudoun and they raised farm animals. The entrepreneurial side of me was asking what could I do on a high, small, rocky farm that might have a high value crop, and I decided for reasons of change in technology that maybe it should be wine grapes. We were able with some difficulty to find the planting stock and put the first vines in 1980, and they all died. I learned the reason why the first grapes had all died, and I was able to secure some additional planting stock and go ahead with the idea. In the first crop, in the first year, I won a gold medal for the Riesling that I made. It was very encouraging. Of course, I didn't know what I was doing. Very few people in Virginia knew how to make wine. We were the first bonded winery in Loudoun County, and now Loudoun County has got over 50 wineries and growing. One of the most important things was finding people to try to lead and guide, and I was very active in that phase of the wine industry statewide. I was the president of the Wineries Association. I was their chief lobbyist. I lobbied before the Virginia legislature, and I worked with the industry to try to get the regulatory and commercial environment that would help the entire Virginia industry. Both my daughters graduated from Loudoun Valley High School, and both of them had been helped by participation in the Loudoun Science Fair. And science was obviously important in Loudoun County, continues to be, and it came to me that I needed to find a way to give back for the wonderful education that had been given to my daughters. I founded a scholarship program, which is today and has been in continuous existence for 20 or 30 years now, a scholarship to be given to the student who meaningfully participate in the county science fair. So my way of giving back was to try to encourage the teaching and learning of science and to participate. The Willowcroft Foundation grants awards to young scientists who are developing an idea to get to their first NIH award, and we give two or three of those scholarships every year. Not scholarships, grants to young scientists that are at the beginning stages of their careers. And I think that has made an impact on motivation and therefore has had a positive impact on the county. You know, life is the summary of the decisions we've made. And I've made some good ones and I've made some bad ones. But certainly the legacy that I hope will be the most impactful is the contribution of my family.